Within 15 seconds, all of them made six figures in front of me. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is a lot harder than I thought it was. You guys are right. I don't understand how this took place. Roaring Kitty didn't want to squeeze the stock. He never, ever asked for it.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Leaders. I'm Sam North, your host, and well, what a guest we have for you today. An entrepreneur, an author, a public speaker, someone who I am sure many of our audience listening today will know, the founder of the infamous subreddit WallStreetBets. I am delighted to introduce our next guest, Jaime Rogozinski. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Where are you logging in from today? Where in the world?
I live in Mexico City. That's where I call home base. It's where my family lives, and it's where I'd spend more than half the year. But then I travel a lot for various work-related matters. But yeah, I'm in Mexico City. I've been here for 10 years after being an American vagabond.
Amazing. Well, look, as I mentioned, a lot of people will know you that are listening to this or watching this on YouTube, wherever. They'll know you from WallStreetBets. So can we go back to the beginning of that, the origin story of it all? Did you sort of see it as an unbelievable opportunity? Is it something you created and you ran with it? How did it sort of come out?
Look, I started it in 2012 out of initially a selfish reasons, right? Like I'd lost my job, financial crisis, didn't want that to happen again. It sucked. I had to do little gigs here and there. Finally, I landed a very well-paying job, literally for the enemy, like at the institution for the man at a big international multilateral bank. And single, no kids, was making enough money so that I knew that I could afford to take high risk, hoping for high return. And, you know, the media was lambasting the institutions, traditional finance, for treating Wall Street like a casino. To me, that sounded like an opportunity to make quick money. And if they could abuse it, then there's nothing preventing the retail from. So the inspiration was that I'm never going to be poor again. So I'm going to learn how to like also do what the big banks do to get rich, which is to gamble, literally. And absent of there being any online resource for me to be irresponsible or at least take high risks as an actual strategy, I created it and I named it with that in mind, right? Like I wanted anyone that showed up. I wanted to learn. And soon after this, I like I said, I was working at a bank in Washington, D.C., a few blocks from the White House, where there was a satellite Occupy Wall Street movement. And I just remember thinking, you know, as soon as it starts snowing, these guys are going to go home, and they had their 15 minutes of fame. And, you know, there's no way to choose. Like, the only way to fix that is to get the actual guys looking from the penthouse with their binoculars, right? Like, the poor people on the street, not poor, like, financially, well, maybe, but, like, you know, this, you know, the people that are freezing, and then they're like, yeah, they can move on. If I get CNBC to complain, then we've done something, right? So that was the secondary motivator. As soon as I realized that upon creating this community, there was a lot of hunger for this, both high risk, high return, both I'm angry and want to do something about it. Let's figure out a way to stick it to the man. I mean, that was the literal origin story, and then that continues to this day, like the core of it, right? It's gone through a lot of different chapters in growth. But my expectation was that, and my hopes were to actually be able to cause change, but I didn't ever imagine it would hold such traction and spark such a movement the way that it did.
When did you sort of realize, hang on a minute, like this is something here? Was it like one individual moment, or was it something else where you were just like, wow, this is, you know, I'm onto something here?
It was gradual. I mean, like within the first few months, when without me telling anyone about this, the size was doubling on a monthly basis. I was like, oh, okay, cool. There's a demographic here, so that was like note to self. But I was still focused. Then probably 2014, circa 2014, we started getting noticed, right? Like by quasi serious financial news or mainstream reporting, and they would sometimes link to the subreddit, and we would obviously rebrand the subreddit in ways that weren't safe for work for anybody that was reading the news while at work and clicking, like fortune.com or whatever, like click a link to the Wall Street bets and they'd be greeted to things that they'd be getting in trouble for if the boss was walking by. That same kind of let's have fun while we do this was there. But that's when I noticed, like, oh, this is cool. Like, we're getting attention, we're getting famous. And then 2016, I knew we were onto something because by then the community had grown to the point where we had the I want to learn
Yeah.
and the I know everything, dude, and I'm bored and I like you guys, so I'm gonna teach you. And then you had the okay, well, I'm smart. I don't know anything, but I'm going to learn quickly. And when I started seeing this collective intelligence work together in their own way, uh, to produce really, really good ideas and to create arbitrage opportunities or identify ones that are unique to them. Arbitrage meaning like cheating or free money or whatever,
Yeah.
inefficiencies. Big banks have a lot of money. That's one of their advantages. They have more information. They pay for co-located computers with short physical distances to the exchange so that the high frequency things can be quicker than the other one. Retail users don't, like they're using their cell phone, like they have to find a different thing. And when I started seeing them working together, I was like, this is a good thing. And the aha moment probably came in 2018. By then, I had more than enough proof. Once there had been ample examples of the community not only identifying, exploiting very sophisticated arbitrage opportunities masqueraded behind memes, right? Like, this is the beauty of it. Finance guys wear suits and use the words with lots of syllables. The cheat codes, as they call them, infinite money or free money cheat codes, infinite leverage, whatever. And I could go on. There's like a lot of really, really cool stuff they did. We made the cover of Business Week magazine, the front page cover, where WallStreetBets was recognized as having figured out how to manipulate large cap stock prices with little money. And then they go, it's very technical, right? Which actually, now that I remember your audience, you guys will appreciate it. But
Yeah.
it was using derivatives and leverages and making the counterparty do the heavy lifting. I was like, all right, cool, that's it. I'm gonna make this, like, I'm quitting my job. Like this, I think there's something here. And I wrote a book, and that's when I started doing the trademark. That's when all of a sudden I got confirmation
Yeah.
that this was going somewhere. This is a new thing.
Yeah, I can imagine that would have been a very key moment. Let's talk about GameStop. You mentioned 2016, 2018, obviously 2020, 2021. Fascinating times in markets. With the whole GameStop movement, did you recognize it as a sort of a coordinated movement or a chaotic moment that no one could really have engineered, even you guys?
Well, it's both. Prior to GameStop, so GameStop is oftentimes juxtaposed with the word Wall Street Bets because that's where it became known, and therefore there's a large number of assumptions or misconceptions about what it
Yeah.
is or was. Prior to GameStop, they had done cooler stuff than what they did with GameStop. GameStop was just spectacular, right? Because of the size and magnitude, and with the narrative, and you had the villains and the good guys. Like, it was just a storytelling. I mean, there was there was 7 documentaries and one
Yeah.
actual movie because it was salacious. But on a technical level, things had happened prior to that. your question was whether it was chaotic and just it was just by chance, or whether it was a well coordinated structure engineering. Well, it's both. There was leading up to GameStop, they had practiced and rehearsed and improvised on lots of different abilities to squeeze where it hurts them, to push the right buttons and do it correctly. They collaborated. They used their collective intelligence to say, dude, I know how you're doing this, but if you're gonna go for a gamma squeeze, you have to use these. Like you want to go for these strike prices and
Yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
types of, because you won't get killed on spreads. Is that like, I mean, and so by then they were good at this game, right? Like, uh, so like it's like a football team that it's professional football player for teams like, and all of a sudden they find themselves on the field and somebody throws a soccer ball on there, and like somebody's there to pick a fight with them, and they say, unless you beat me at football, like I'm gonna beat you up physically. It's like, all right, well, let's, like, so they went and did what they knew what they were good for, but there was no way to anticipate it. There was no way to say, we shall today manipulate and squeeze GameStop. That's the chaotic part. If the word chaos means like not premeditated,
Yeah.
then yeah, it was by chance, as was everything else that happened. Right? Somebody with a good idea pushes it out there. So does everybody else. Collectively, there is the parable of the ox, right? Like you have this ability for people to guess the weight of an ox or the number of jelly beans if you average all of their guesses, regardless of none of them
Yeah,
being
yeah, yeah.
right. They do that and they say, okay, well, we collectively vote on this guy's idea, right? Like let's give this guy visibility. And part of the, like this guy had, Roaring Kitty didn't want to squeeze a stock. He
Mm.
never ever asked for it. He just identified it and shared it. The other guys were the ones like, well, remember what we learned last year? Yeah, if we do that to GameStop, because I agree with Roaring Kitty's analysis, is heavily shorted. That's susceptible, like ultra susceptible. And there was an emotional component, a post-COVID board component. So there was a perfect storm of things that came together. There was an element of chance, but that element of chance quite literally brought together. You know what they see success is like when luck meets preparedness or whatever. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's what
yeah, yeah.
that was, right? That, I mean, GameStop was being prepared and there being an opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I know the quote exactly. What would you say the biggest misconceptions then people have about Wall Street bets or have had, and the traders who shape it, and does any of that annoy you?
Misconception, like only some people have misconceptions, not everybody, right? The people that know it don't have misconceptions. Most of the household or non-technical people, the misconceptions today were born after they found out of Wall Street Bets' existence, which was GameStop.
Yeah.
And therefore, the conception which is missed is that Wall Street Bets is a short squeezing mechanism. Uh, because you see that a lot with crypto. It's like pump, 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 right? Buy, buy, buy. Like, and GameStop looks a whole lot like your average meme coin. But no, but Wall Street Bets it's a mindset, it's a community, and it's a collective movement that uh, uh, is intelligent. But like they make fun of people that are the man that wear suits and ties and speak with big words by doing the opposite, calling themselves degenerate gamblers, autists, sometimes very offensive, but they know what they're freaking doing. Take a look at some of their stuff. In fact, you
Incredible.
got like, Wall Street Bets today on the subreddit, and I'll make a point of that later. Now it's an omnipresent community that's global across within the same platform, lots of like spin-offs, and then across all platforms, it is now just this. A lot of people are a lot of people are Wall Street Bets, right? Like it is an identity, really. Uh, and so for the people that come from the outside, they're like, you're a short squeezing machine. For the people that came from the inside, at least back in the day when I was still on it, you would show up, be like, I was told this place is sophisticated, and I'm looking at like childish jokes, and the word tendy isn't in my CFA manual. What do you mean? Why did you just put us this screenshot of you losing money? I don't get it. Like, how is that? You got, and so there's this kind of like invisible filter of stupidity preventing smart people from like, preventing people from digging, scratching the surface. In the same way, you have this veil of sophistication that like the traditional finance. Oh, we have these collateralized debt obligations with mortgage-backed security hedged by, like annuities and yeah, like. So Billy, I don't understand that. Like, I'm gonna just like call my bank and ask them to handle my money. Yeah, we put pictures of like monkeys and we show off our losses and we use crude language which is anti-sophisticated. But if you read through, if you say no, like stocks only go up, let that one sink in for a second. A guy that studied for years is going to say, what? You were so wrong. You're going to lose all your money. Yeah. I dare you to zoom out on any given index
Yep.
and tell me in what direction that thing went in. It only goes up. Yeah. I'm sure you can see the Great Depression is a little freaking dent in the graph, and the
Yep.
financial crisis is probably a little bigger because it's sooner. But stocks only go up is both silly sounding and profound. So that's the beauty of Wall Street bets. The misconception is that they get stuck with the stocks don't just go up instead of, oh, okay, you were going deeper. Oh, okay. Those within those that are in the community automatically get it. The reason why we attracted professional traders to come and help out was because they read through the BS and they're like, holy cow, these guys are actually a heck of a lot smarter
Yeah.
than I thought. And they're daring, they're unafraid, and there's lots of them, and they want to disrupt. They're not afraid of margin calls. Like, they blow an account and they go to the next one. It's like, I don't UK. I don't know where this audience is. The US, if you don't have $25,000 to trade with, you can only do 3-day trades per week. Otherwise, they freeze your account. So like these guys were just like, whatever. You only have one account. You're silly. Like, you need to get more accounts with that. And when it comes to taking high risk, you like doing stock options, like warning, 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 you're gonna lose your money. You know what you're doing? Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Right? Like it's they're unafraid to take chances and explore, and just like people like to reverse engineer things, like to get a gadget and take it apart and put it back together. That's them.
What would be, looking back at the beginning to obviously when you were removed, what are you most proud of?
That's an unanswerable question. What am I most proud of? If I'm allowed to replace the word proud with like what has brought you the most amount of satisfaction,
Yeah. Yes.
is the tremendous goodwill that has come from this community,
Mm.
globally. I've lost tons of money, but now I know stuff. Now I'm better, right?
Yeah.
So I also lost money when I went to university, right? Like, and I'm still better. So, but watching individuals personally become empowered, and
Yeah.
then watching the collective of these types of like-minded individuals get together to be greater than the sum of their parts, so that not only are they now more knowledgeable, they can make better decisions, and they know nobody teaches people in the US about money. Credit cards is like the way you buy stuff. You know, purchasing a house means going into debt. Right. So after you're on Wall Street Bets, you actually learn why interest rates affect like your Apple stock, and because people then start learning and they get motivated to get this education. I'm very that gives me satisfaction, and most importantly, the thing that I am that I can walk away with saying was an accomplishment that I'm happy with is this was born during a moment when the majority of the world, let's call it 99%, to go back to the slogan, was upset about something that the 1%,
Yeah.
right, was doing. And Wall Street Bets collectively succeeded to earn a seat collectively at the table with the 1%, right? Because they've spoken, and they've spoken, and they prove that they collectively, yeah, no one person's going to make any big deal, but collectively there's now meme stock sections inside of most serious news outlets. All investment banks have like dedicated desks or departments or interns or whatever to literally like monitoring social media for meme stocks. There's mechanisms in place. And, at this point, what I'm so proud of is now that that's been done, right? That's like a chapter in history. Given the number of changes that we're going under today, uh, GameStop was like a warm up round. I mean, at this point, it inspired only Americans could participate in GameStop. If you
Yeah.
want to participate in GameStop, you have to wait until 9:30 a.m. Monday through Friday and stop doing it at 4 p.m. Yeah, like we now have the world can participate 24 hours a day thanks to like the blockchain not encroaching, straight up like overtaking traditional finance. You got like tokenized stocks, you have
Yeah.
ETFized crypto, right? Like, I mean, the amount of problems to fix are infinite, and problems to fix. When I say that, I mean, uh, you find a systemic inefficiency, and you exploit it for profit, and the result is they plug that hole and make global finance better. Right? GameStop cannot be repeated because Wall Street learned from it. So the exact formula won't work. But we like the next GameStop is not going to be just a short squeeze. Next GameStop is going to be a global collective move on the next inefficiency that very much needs to be plugged in order to propel a better future. Right? Like there is a purpose, and I'll close on this last one by saying behind this masquerading of monkey like, apes and self degenerated whatever it is also this idea of Lambos. And you have a lot of these people that like, they flash. I don't know where, oh yeah, I do have my fake like stacks of like that the TikTokers use. Like, yeah, like they enjoy joking about like Lambos and this, and that, and the other. But during COVID, when Wall Street Bets was making stupid amounts of money by shorting the market with leverage and making memes about people dying, right? That's in poor taste. What people don't realize is they were simultaneously like running charities, and they were
Yeah.
donating to literally to like autism like things, because they would sometimes use these, they pick different insults at
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time. Calling autism was the word du jour, and to prove that they're quite literally not picking on any one particular demographic, they're just like taking power away from those words. They gave away their money, right, to these various causes. So, righteous individuals, like disguised as anarchists.
Love it. Great way to finish that question. Let's talk a little bit about your removal from Reddit and the lawsuit and how you felt about that, and did you think it was the right fight for you to fight that, even though the courts went the other way? Like, how, looking back at that now, are you feeling?
How did I feel? It sucked.
Yeah.
I crawled into a corner and, um, I'm not here to talk about my feelings, because first of all, they're in the past, right?
Yeah.
There was,
Yeah.
like if I punch you, it's gonna hurt for a few minutes, and then you forgot I punched you. So I am well past the I got punched part.
Cool.
In fact, it took me years before I could sue them, and partly to get the strength to do it, partly to get the money to do it, and partly to find a way around. their impenetrable immunity shield, which is the infamous Section 230. For if you have a UK audience, Section 230 protects internet platforms from being sued for what people do on it. So, which is a good thing, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't exist. So a well-intended law saying I will put it like YouTube, and if you put up a video that's inappropriate, yeah, I'll kick you out or whatever. But you
Yeah.
can't sue me if harm was caused as a result of that upload. That's on that person. I will make my best efforts to take it down if I see that there's illegal stuff or whatever. But there's no way around. You cannot, like, Donald Trump was kicked out of Twitter and Facebook. He was deplatformed. Now,
Hmm.
he was deplatformed while still the acting president of the United States. But let me just take it one step further. He was deplatformed while still being the acting president of the United States, and used social media in his capacity as president to actually conduct diplomacy,
Yeah.
right? Like you can say whether calling Little Rocket Man for Kim Jong Un is the right way of doing diplomacy, or canceling NAFTA with a tweet, like, but he did, and he couldn't sue his way back in. So that's Section 230, and I was like, I'm never going to be able to sue them. Finally, I ended up hearing about a case about a guy that got deplatformed and got back on. I won't get into the legal thing because I'll lose everybody. I hired that guy's lawyer. I by then was no longer sad. By then I had money again. By then I was ready to fight, and by then I had a legal chance. Uh, why did I decide to fight? Because it was right. By then I'd moved on. I like no one's ever going to take my ability to come up with good ideas.
Yeah.
My reputation is can't be taken away from me either. I'm the founder of WallStreetBets, regardless of the trademark or anything else. Like that recognition is permanent. So as far as I'm concerned, I was about it was three years later. I got kicked out in 2020 before GameStop, and it was me that was getting the phone calls and the interviews. Go see how many Wall Street
Yeah.
bettors gave GameStop interviews. So I'm okay. I'll be fine, and I'll make money. And so, like, it really even wasn't even about uh, my ability to come up with stuff. It was at this point, like, the social media platform not only kicked me out, they then left they left their little corner of the internet and followed me to the in the US, the USPTO, the Trademark and Patent Office. Uh, and they stopped me from wanting to keep growing what I built elsewhere.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, that stays here. I'm like, dude, now you're just stealing.
Mm.
Not only are you just stealing my creation, you're also destroying a movement. I don't
Yeah. Yeah.
need the word. People still care. I'm still making money. But at this point, like, if you trademark, number one, you kill social media, and social media is much more powerful than mainstream media.
Yeah.
Period. Numbers,
Yeah.
go look it up. You'll see.
Yeah.
Like, Kardashian can sell more lipsticks with a freaking like 15 frames, right? Than a 30-second Super Bowl ad.
Correct.
Faster information, democracy. I'm not going to sell social media. So, like, if social media, which has already got some flaws with it, is now able to appropriate, and now they are disincentivizing other great creations. Let's make the assumption that WallStreetBets was the net good for the world. WallStreetBets would never have existed had I known that was going to happen, because the legal precedent that is set by this case is there would be no feasible way for me to create WallStreetBets and keep it, because WallStreetBets is a community, a brand. I can't create a community by selling a car and then calling that first use in commerce. My first use in commerce for creating a community, quite literally, means going online and finding it. And so if it wasn't Reddit, and it would have been Facebook, and the Ninth Circuit, you can see it, the YouTube video, the hearing, They asked the Reddit guy, like, dude, if Jamie went to Yahoo first, and tried it there, and 10 people showed up and it failed, and then he switched over to Reddit and boom, success. Are you telling me that Yahoo would own the trademark because they provided the infrastructure and therefore were the first users of this community? The Reddit lawyer, after trying to squirm his way out of it, said, yeah, because they were the first to host the platform under that name. Um, that sucks. And so at
Yeah.
that point, it was no longer a fight about me. I recovered. I became unsad. I already lost that fight. But at this point, I'm fighting for everybody else because they can retroactively take things. I registered multiple trademarks and they're going after all of them. And they're likely to take them from me, regardless of whatever you might think is fair or not fair. And that's bad for the world because the next guy that comes up with a good idea, a content creator that wants to collectively cure cancer, or let's not make this about money, and does some cancer street bets, or like some
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, yeah, the website's gonna take it. And if you're like, oh, fine, I'll just chat GPT and build my own Reddit. Like, yeah, okay, well now you have to go like register and host your website. Oh, okay, well that's fine. I'll just like use my IP address and my computer at home. Well, guess what? Now the freaking computer owns it. Like, I mean, the legal argument is such that you cannot create on the internet. Period. And
Yeah.
so I'm fighting that idea, and it sucks that the courts are allowing this precedent to be set. The fight is not over yet. Like, I will fight this until there's absolutely nothing left. We're at the Supreme Court, right? We'll get the technicalities. We're still at the Supreme Court. We have support from major reputable entities, and they're going to have to pry this thing from my cold dead hands. So, but even if they do, I'm sad for the internet, and I hope that other social media entities, and more importantly, that other creators can start making noise regarding this, because like that would never happen to me. Yeah, well, it happened to WallStreetBets, so yes, it can.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
It's interesting, listening to you and hearing how passionate you are about community. You mentioned obviously the thing you were most proud of, Reworded, of course, is that and the people you met along the way. And social media is powerful in terms of generating ideas, education, and all of this. Have you got any lessons for those retail traders or investors that are listening to this? And our audience are all over the world, whether it be US, Europe, UAE, whatever, Australia. Have you got any sort of lessons for those? And also your own investing approach, has that changed over time?
WallStreetBets isn't a word that can be owned. It is an idea, a mindset, a community, and it belongs. And the good thing about, regardless of the court outcome, is you cannot steal the community out of the community. And at this point, WallStreetBets has outgrown within Reddit, is expanded. Outside of Reddit, it is now on every social media platform, both as communities and solo account holders, like my Twitter, TikTok, whatever it is. And there is so much thirst for working together. It was easy for Reddit subreddit to work together because they were hanging out in the same www.com. We've now created a mechanism by which you can pick your .com of choice, and at this point, crypto and Wall Street are fair game. Wall Street and whatever, like Japanese and Korean stock markets, Indian and whatever, like it's all the same. Like that, and now there's going to be a collective, coordinated collaboration that's going to be like, you thought GameStop was cool? Okay, so advice number one: if anybody ever does this to you, they're lying to you. Okay,
Hope everyone is watching this.
What they don't show you this is the fine print that says motion picture purposes. It's fake money.
Fake money.
You cannot go to the bank and ask for these things without like getting pulled into the little room to ask questions. Try to buy a car with a bunch of these things and see who sells it to you. If anybody has these things in their possession, they're worth no money because you cannot spend it. You cannot get it. And anybody with it, like, whatever. So social media, people that are new, stay away from anybody that has this,
Yeah.
an expensive watch or a Lamborghini. Um, period. It's easy to fake it, and it's easy to fake trade. And hindsight, like because trading is so complicated, even if they don't use gimmicks like money or cars, uh, there's ways by which they can cherry pick advice and
Mm,
say, I told you would have made so much money. They'll put my
mm.
call ahead of time so you can verify it, right? They'll say, look, buy this, and that stock. And then 6 months later, they will go and they will say, I'm going to show you how I have a 100% hit rate. Look how that stock went up, that stock went up, and that stock went up. And they'll focus on that little part where it went up. What they don't tell you, and so now, well, Jesus, this guy's really good. He's 6 out of 6. Yeah, he didn't tell you where he purchased, and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
certainly didn't
yeah.
tell you when he sold it, because that chart likely did a lot of this, right? Like, there's no straight lines in finance, and just showing you, as I referenced earlier, stocks only go up. Like, that's not enough to make money. If you want to just go under that premise, purchase a diversified ETF that's got a bit of everything, and that is your safest investment. Buy, sit, hold, and that is investing at the Warren Buffett way, and you're outsourcing the work to the actual collective intelligence that does this professionally. They pick which things to put into these ETFs, which are just basically baskets of stocks. So, what not to do? Don't follow people that sound convincing. People that sound convincing are going to be less entertaining.
Yes,
Social
and then
media is it is a attention economy thing. This is entertaining. If I were to teach you to trade, my first question, sadly, after knowing everything, I've gone from being a degenerate gambler, losing a lot of money, to now being a successful trader. I despise the question of, so tell me, what is your time horizon and what is your risk tolerance, right? Like a if somebody today asks the creator of Wall Street Bets for financial advice, my first questions are going to be, what's your time horizon and what is your freaking risk tolerance? Because now I know enough to realize that there is a lot to it. So number two, there is, if you're an active trader, not an
yeah,
investor, uh, there is no magic formula. There, in fact, can be formulas that claim to make money doing the opposite thing and seemingly contradicting, and they can both simultaneously be right. It happened to me
mm,
once. I went into a Wall Street Bets little private chat room, three pros. One was a quant, the other guy was a technical trader, meaning will draw his lines, and the third guy was a news trader where he had news 10 seconds
yeah,
before the rest of the world did. So I said, all right, good. Like, tell me how to trade it. Like, dude, it's complicated. No, you just tell me what to buy. They're like, even if I told you what to buy, it still wouldn't guarantee money. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, you know what? Whatever. Let's have a competition to see who's best, because the three of you claim to be the best. We'll wait for news catalyst on a Wednesday when interest rates so that
yeah.
guy can play too. One, two, and ahead of time, what are you going to do? Quant guy goes, well, volatility profile, mean reversion. Okay, cool. So I'm going to short and sell, right? The technical guy. Now I'm assuming your audience can keep up
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
this. Technical go guy goes, support resistance. Like, I'm going to short if it touches here, I'm going to long if it goes here. My target's going to be here, based off of VWAPs or whatever, like
Yeah.
drawings he put on the thing. And then the news guy was like, dude, I'll tell you when the news comes out because it depends on what it is, right? So it was perfect. So one guy was going to short, the other guy was going to both short and long. And then as it turns out, the news guy ended up longing, right? So
Yeah.
we had all three within 15 seconds, all of them made six figures in front of me. And I was like, I'm not allowed
Wow.
to curse.
Yeah, you could do whatever you want.
Oh, fuck. This is a lot harder than I thought it was. You guys are right. I don't understand how this took place. And they go, okay, so that was lesson one. You know nothing, and you think you know nothing. Number
Yeah.
two, even if we are experienced traders, if we use each other's strategies, we will lose money
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we don't have confidence in it,
Yeah.
right? Because we've decided this is the one that works for us. He does astrology drawings on the chart. I don't believe in those, but he just made money. I believe in math and statistics, and that guy doesn't understand them like, and so if you see that there are contradictions, like they can both be true, but you can't simultaneously apply them. Play around with them. If you want to decorate your chart with freaking all the indicators and overlays and all these like moving averages and WAPs, you can make your thing look like whatever you want. If it gives you confidence, then work on that and don't keep looking for new solutions.
Yeah.
Continue working on the one that you started, or else you're going to go in circles, right? Because if you take a moving average strategy and you add it to a mean reversion strategy, uh, or a Bollinger Band volatility
Hmm.
like they don't work. And so adding more complexity to something that should be simple, pick a thing and do it. And I'll close by giving how you should learn. I've had this dream since 2018 when I wrote the book. I had this vision, which I will do, which is going to be competitive trading, not stock picking competition, not who can make the most money, not what you're used to. I'm
Yeah.
talking about an esports game show that's hosted whereby I make the rules and I say today's secret ingredient is apple, and the weapon of choice is like short only, or let's go with long. Let's make it simple. It's a long only, no derivatives. You have to buy low and sell high. Go right. So in other words, the skill is no longer picking a good investment, right? The skill is identifying where and when to buy low and sell high throughout a short period of time,
Yeah.
faster than the other guy. Okay, that's a different skill set. It's entertaining. Most importantly, it reduces 99% of the variables when it comes to trading. That exercise is not just one of entertainment, but is also one for education,
Yeah.
because you then get to perfect that art and you'll realize how many variables there are around buying low and selling high. You'll ask yourself, how low do I buy? And how high do I sell? That's like, that's missing from that wonderful advice until you try to do it. Then all of a sudden questions occur. So still keep to buy low and buy high. Explore all the questions you didn't realize needed to be asked, right? And only once you dominate all that concepts, then you can introduce fancier weapons or fancier choice. And risk management is basically the way you win that particular game. So manage your risk, don't lose your money. My Your second question was my approach to trading. Uh, I've done everything.
What do you prefer? What are you best at? Like trading or long term investing? What do you like more?
Uh, what do I like more? I mean, you've left a lot of room for interpretation here.
Yeah.
I invest responsibly, the
Yeah.
way that I was told on day zero, the day before WallStreetBets existed,
Uh
which
huh.
was just buy a freaking index fund.
ETF, whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, diversify. So, my investments, my wealth storage, and I say wealth storage because like investing, in this manner, it doesn't mean that you want to be rich. It just means you want to keep up with inflation, right? It in worst case scenario. So my responsible money is stored, invested in boring dividend collecting
Yeah.
diversified ETFs. I don't know what it's worth. I'd never check it. I don't even think I have the thing installed on my phone. But then you asked me the word, what do you like doing, right? How
Yes.
do you entertain yourself, right? What is it you're good at? Yeah, I do enjoy trading very much. I've learned after having done a lot of stuff. I try not to do it because I'm actually an addict and I have an addicting personality. I'm an alcoholic, like it's not joking. So I try to stay away from things that like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. I got you.
obsessed with. But I know how to trade very well and I know how to do it correctly. My choice, my flavor is technical analysis,
Yeah.
or technical trading, and I don't do it. I don't sit down with a computer every day and look for trading. I follow the markets, and when I
Yeah.
spot a like 99% winner, yeah, I'll throw in a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
bag at it
yeah, yeah,
because I know that the odds are big and I'll leverage it to the hill and I enjoy it and I make money doing it. So my responsible money is tucked away in boring stuff. My fun money that can 100x overnight, uh I don't actively look for it, but because I follow these things, they happen. Um they happen occasionally. It's so enjoyable that I could like end up just trading all day long and then not feeling good about my life because then I
yeah,
just clicked buttons and now I have more money. And then I
yeah,
go to
yeah.
sleep and do it again. So
You
for me,
wake up
that's
to it.
not like I enjoy helping other people. Like I want to do something of substance that in addition to
Yeah,
making money, because I can
yeah,
trade, make money. I can do what I do and make money. I do pay the bills, but I don't yearn. Like there's been moments when I've been $0 to my name and then the millions of dollars to my name. And when I had $0, like man, when I'm rich, I'm gonna buy all this shit. And then I was rich and I was like, I don't feel like buying anything,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like and then I'd like lose it or give it away or invest it or whatever or like tucked it. And like my calling in life isn't just to make money. Now that I figured out how to do that, it's like there was no, if you cannot pay the bills, that sucks and you're in a bad place. If you can pay the bills, uh there's only the marginal benefits of additional money is like exponentially decreasing. If you choose to do it for a living, uh, that good for you. In other words, like just like you choose to go be an accountant, not necessarily doing it for fun, right? You're doing it to make money,
mm,
but to pay the bills. That's perfectly uh like I think that's a perfectly noble job, and I think that it's a lonely job. It's a difficult job. It's certainly not just clicking buttons on a well, it is once you know which ones, but but yeah, being a professional trader is if you're having fun, you're gambling
yeah, yeah, yeah,
as a
yeah,
professional trader. If you're making money as a professional trader, you're not having fun
yeah. I
because
got you.
yeah,
I'd like to go one last question while I've got you, Jamie, if that's all right. And
yeah.
what's next for you? What are you working on at the moment? What's the future hold? How are you sitting at the moment?
Uh, okay, so instead of because time is running out and I've already left little breadcrumbs throughout this entire interview, Wall Street Bets is coming back with a bang, right? People think a lot of people like think Wall Street Bets is a subreddit. Uh, Wall Street Bets is a movement. It's a
Yeah,
mindset. It is a global community. Sometimes it's World Street Bets, Satoshi Street Bets, Indian Street Bets. Sometimes it doesn't even use the word street bets, right? Like sometimes it's just people that are wanting to do the same thing and leading the same thing. We have now worked behind the scenes over the last 6 months to create a coalition that can collaborate, cooperate, communicate, and coordinate across all the different instances of this global community, such that their local instances can be managed by with their cultural differences. I learned recently that Indian Street Bets likes to make money, likes gold, likes they love stock
yeah,
options,
yeah, yeah,
but they
yeah,
are
yeah,
actually more risk averse than the, I'm not fucking selling crowd. Uh, but they will die. They will fall on their sword for the right cause, right? So I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
cool. I'm glad I'm not running Indian Street Bets because I'd have screwed that one up, right? So
yeah, yeah,
everyone
yeah,
needs to have like their local flavor, but we're all now together, and we're going to. We did a litmus test in Singapore. It was like a resounding success where we had DGens getting tattoos and throwing like $100 bill toilet papers, where you next to the CEO of Goldman Sachs, ministers, crown princes, billionaires, CEOs of publicly traded companies. The 1% and the 99% are now on the same team.
yeah,
This is no longer 2008 where we're crying about the crisis. This is now those people that were occupying Wall Street are now presidents of El Salvador. Now it's 100% versus the system. And we have silently been piecing together the ability to collectively like make GameStop the introduction of a actual substantive like book about history. And with permission to shill, the first instance you can see this on January 28th in Miami. We are hosting the first ever convention, Wall Street Bets Live. You can go to WSBLive.com. Got all the details there. This is Degens meets Davos, literally inspired by what I just said about this party. We had World Economic Forum caliber people there, but they are degens at heart because they are of this generation. They are now in positions of power and wealth, alongside the other 99%, which are just the rest of the world. We're going to have we're going to send a message there. There's going to be some spectacular things. A lot more things are going to be revealed at that point. I would encourage anybody that is able to make it there. Speakers are going to be anywhere from you name your crypto tycoon to business people, you name your business tycoon to politicians, to literally people from the World Economic Forum, thought leaders. We're there to show the world that we can now change it for the better. And we now have the track record, the ability to, and we're more encouraged than ever because the opportunities that are existing right now, given the velocity at which things are changing, thanks to crypto, policy, governments, AI, globalization, we can collectively have a say in a runaway system that we're inheriting. And I'm very, very excited about that.
Jaime, thank you so much. For me, I think that's my favorite interview. So thank you so much for coming on. I know our audience are going to absolutely love it. And do check out what Jaime mentioned. I'll put the link in the bio to that as well on YouTube and the podcast. So Jaime, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very much. I very much enjoy this as well. So happy to come back whenever.